Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the most wonderful time of the year, and if you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean that you're in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast, where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals and pick their brain about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more in a light and in a conversational fashion. And if you like what you're hearing, well, please keep listening because you're here. I love you for it. But subscribe as well. Subscribe. Go find us on all major podcast platforms: Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and plus we archive everything over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe us there as well. Also, check us out on social media. We're on the Facebook, the Twitter, or X, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, Threads. I lose track. There's too much. But we're at In the Seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats. InTheSeats.ca for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the moving image at large. Because guess what? And you know what I'm about to say. If you like to read about it and listen about it and talk about it, come on by and, give us a whirl. Please, we'd really, really appreciate it. Every click counts, every visit counts. Come on by and let us inform and entertain you. Believe it or not, boys and girls, it's a national holiday today. That's right, April 15th is actually a national holiday. Why, you ask? Because it's National Canadian Film Day. It is something very near and dear to our hearts. All across Canada, there's going to be a myriad, if not thousands upon thousands, of special events of screening. Maybe not thousands of thousands, but there's a lot. There's a lot of different screenings all across the country and even internationally celebrating Canadian film. And guess what? They're all entirely free. If you don't already know and you don't already have your plans, head over to canfilmday.ca and let's dream together and find out about a screening near you. Come out and put our elbows up and celebrate what makes our Canadian cinema great. I'll have all the details in the description. But first, in advance of that, we had the chance to talk with one of our national treasures, a man who is near and dear to National Canadian Film Day. He works with them in Real Canada in promoting this event. The one and only Colm Feore. You will know him from current shows like Landman, but also Bon Cop, Bad Cop. He was Trudeau in a CBC miniseries way back when. He is the man. He is a beautiful human being. We talk Canadian film. We talk a little physical media. You won't get to see the video because we're an audio podcast, but talk a little Glenn Gould, talking a little about just sort of the availability and accessibility of Canadian films and how our art form, our storytelling has truly, truly evolved. But like I said, go to canfilmday.ca and let's dream together. But first, enjoy our talk with Colm Feore because it's a darn good one. My friend, obviously fantastic to see you again as we gather to celebrate something near and dear to both of our hearts, Canadian film and National Canadian Film Day. And I guess to kick it off, I kind of want to ask you because, and to borrow some terminology from the modern news as a middle power pop culture sort of land base, and the more we put our elbows up, it does feel like Canadian film, Canadian television, thanks to sort of the streamers and everything that's going on in terms of the pop culture landscape, is getting more and more seen. And I'm curious, for someone who's been in the industry for a minute, can you talk a little bit about, I guess, sort of the evolution and importance of why National Canadian Film Day is important, especially now?
Well, the thing about National Canadian Film Day is it gives us at least a single moment in the year to focus on all we've achieved and to shine a spotlight on the brilliant people that have achieved all that, right? And there's a lot out there, and they do it for next to nothing. So that they have to be immensely more creative, more inventive, more, you know, brilliant about their choices in trying to make these movies. and TV shows, um, because they have very few resources. But what they have is imagination and skill. And so then we turn around, we say to Canada and the rest of the world, because we're going to have more than 2,000 screenings, and they're going to be all around the world.
Yeah.
So, they're on military bases in various other capitals of the world, and of course a crap load in Canada. But we're saying, hey, I know I know the big American blockbusters are exciting. Sure, Mission Impossible is fun. Sure, it's great. And no problem with that. We also have something to offer you. And what we're going to offer you, and particularly critical at this time, is a view of who you are. We're going to actually hold the mirror up to nature, pulling a page out of Shakespeare's book, and we're going to show you you. And the thing that's so wonderfully thrilling about this is we see people respond to it. We see it a lot with Real Canada because we put these films into Canadian high schools
Yeah.
and in front of new Canadians and people who want to learn English as a second language and haven't been in the country very long. And we say, hey, these aren't just our stories; they will become your stories. And in fact, you can become our filmmakers and make them exactly your stories. And then they'll become our stories. And to do that with so little money, with limited resources, with such imagination, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty surprising that we are that good at this, right? I just did a animated short film that won an Oscar.
Exactly.
Girl Who Cried Pearls took 5 years to make at the NFB. So, needless to say, for pennies, your tax dollars hard at work. It won the Oscar. It's won all sorts of things around the world. It's been at every festival you can think of. It's nominated for Canadian Screen Award. And is it good? Yeah. And what's it about? An old guy in Montreal trying to tell a story about his life. What? What? And so when you see that kind of thing, you think with the right amount of skill, we can tell stories that are so moving, that is so kind of bouleversant, as they say in French. It just
Yeah.
knocks you over. And you think, oh, wow, that's us. And who are we? We're people from sea to sea to sea. We're indigenous, francophone, anglophone, and 1,000 other languages in between. And we have movies in all of those. So that to me, to celebrate all that on one particular day where we can draw as much attention as possible so that people actually go, oh, it's National Canadian Film Day. I'm busy at work, but I'm going to run one on my phone and just let it play while I'm here. And so I'll add to the numbers. I'm going to watch one on my computer, my iPad. Darn it, I'm going to the theater.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to the library, or I'm going to the old folks' home to be with my mom, and we're going to watch Bon Cop, Bad Cop because it's her favorite movie. I'm sorry, that was a cheap ass plug.
No, hey, you're allowed. But I mean, my friend, it's one of those things where it's so Canadian of us to be humble and to sort of defer. But I mean, I'm so glad that not only we have a day to sort of celebrate us and what we do, but the fact that we're leaning into it even more and more.
Well, we are because we found out that it's become more successful. I mean,
Yeah.
people seem to like it, right? So that we at Real Canada have said, "Oh, okay, they want more. Let's give them more." I mean, obviously, this has made it slightly more difficult for us because we need more resources, more people, and then more organization. But our people are brilliant, and they've cobbled together something that makes that work. And we're getting out to more and more people in more and more places. And flogging great Canadian ideas. Now, that's just here as I reach into my basket on my desk. I would like to point out that 32 short films about Glenn Gould has recently made a
I got it's one's on
right.
my shelf. One
Did
is
he
on
really?
my shelf.
Well, you and I will appreciate that I also got myself another copy of With Nail and
Oh
I.
well, of course. My God, yeah.
But yeah, I'm the one who bought all the 32 short films versions. But on this DVD is Adam McGoyan interviewing Francois Girard and talking about how they made the movie. Don McKellar, you know, absolute resources of people who are, let's face it, internationally recognized, brilliant filmmakers, right? We don't have to scream, we don't have to pretend. We don't have to say, oh, I know we're Canadian, I'm sorry about that. These guys are known around the world and known to be brilliant around the world. And so consequently, you think, well, why don't we just tell each other that? And why don't we just show off to each other? You know, um, God love him, young Mr. Tierney, right?
Yeah,
Jacob Tierney, who I did Trotsky for.
yeah.
And now he's got this heated rivalry thing.
Oh,
And suddenly it's a big deal.
yeah, it's a
Well,
big deal. Yeah,
duh. We have, Schitt's Creek and suddenly Dan Levy's a big deal. Come on. We've had these resources. We've had these brilliant people here for decades, and they've all been toiling away, working at what, we all do, trying to tell stories and trying to do it on, the government's nickel because that's the only way we can do it here because we don't have enough people to support a $150 million movie like, the Marvel movies.
yeah.
But the ones we do have the money to make are really, really good.
No, that's so true. That's so true. And I mean, we have that second generation of talent coming up now. We have obviously the Adams and the Davids and the Francois,
Yeah.
and I mean Eugene, but now we've got the Dan Levys and we've got the Chandler Levacs and the Matt Johnsons and so many other people who are coming up and getting recognized. I mean, you've been involved with Real Canada for a while. I've got to imagine it's endearing and comforting for you to be able to see sort of the second generation starting to take their place now.
Well, it's really encouraging to see it's not dying, right?
Yeah,
That's the thing that was worrying because when everything changed and streamers started to
yeah.
become the way people were going to go to the movies, and you thought, oh, everybody's got a huge TV at home, so there's no need to go to the cinema. What's going to happen here? Are people going to be watching Chinatown on their phone? I doubted it, but now, of course, it's true.
Yeah.
But that means that we can actually get our voices out more effectively, you know? And, for people who are really clever about how this works and they can get, a lot of friends together and work for virtually free with, bring your own lunch, we can do great work, get it out to an audience, and then have a day in the year where we can celebrate it and draw attention to their work and then maybe push it farther and farther so that we have a chance to not so much outsmart the big money, but to say, hey, wouldn't you like to see a story about you that's actually about you by people like you who know you? And I think that's working.
It really, really is. And I mean, it's one of those things because obviously you've spent a career being able to sort of, I mean, I guess work both sides of the line as it is, because obviously Landman is great, Taylor's great, it's such a great show, but at the same time, being able to get the call to work on something like Girl, I've got to imagine definitely kind of fills up your soul a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I was in Dundas 2 days ago doing a film for a wonderful director whose partner wrote the script from a book that she'd also written. And they said, look, we need a day. We need somebody to come in and play an asshole. Needless to say, immediately they thought of me. And we had worked together, oh my God, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and 30 years ago. And they just said, hey, can you come uh, on this day and do this thing? And I said, of course, I'll be right there. And it was fantastic. I was in North Bay a month ago because somebody called and said, "Hey, and this was the one that Graham Greene was going to be part of, and alas, couldn't be. But they said we just need you for a day." I said, well, "My day is your day. What do you want me to do?" And so that's how we make this stuff happen. Now, it turns out there are no flights to North Bay anymore. So somebody came and picked me up and drove me to North Bay. And that was not I wasn't being lazy or unwilling to drive myself, but I thought, well, I'll learn the lines on the way. But the fact of the matter is, they're making stuff for very little money.
Yeah.
It's all a proof of concept pitch, and they've got great ideas, and great people should be saying yes to this. And Taylor Sheridan, God bless him, can help subsidize it.
100%.
You know?
100%, man, for sure. And I mean, I love also the fact that some of the bigger broadcasters and streamers that we have, like Crave, are embracing sort of the ability to play shorts, especially Canadian shorts. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm curious on your perspective because it really does feel like to me that the art of the short film has really helped us evolve how we became storytellers and how we've been able to put ourselves out there. Because obviously, on one end, short film can be proof of concept to something bigger, but it's still an art form in and of itself.
Yeah. And it has to stand alone, because if you're gonna risk doing it, it's got to be a complete thing.
Yeah,
You've got to tell the whole story. And I've done a bunch of these, and I love them. I love the fact that they're so compact and so concise. And it requires of the writers, directors, producers a kind of precision that is really fun to work with, because you're not in it forever, right? You know that this is going to be very sharp focused, that when you're asking for an audience's attention, you're saying, hey, listen, 17 minutes of your life. You don't like it? I'll give you your money back, right? It's not going to be a huge investment,
yeah,
but you might want to watch three of them in and make an hour,
yeah,
right? And we have those for you, right? But they're going to be different. They're going to be dramatic. They're going to be exciting. And they're going to have all sorts of really cool, interesting people that you will have seen in 1,000 other things. And go, is that guy from the thing? I mean, I was doing one called When I Wake. Maybe that's not the title. But they asked me to play two parts in it. I said, don't you think people will notice that I'm playing two different parts in this? Well, we need to double up on the money. It's the same $165, but it would be great for us if you could play the two parts. And so I said, of course, because it, you know, it proves it. One of the things it does is it trains people. It's filled with people who are willing to sacrifice some of their time. It's a lot of volunteer time, or will come if there's a nice lunch provided. It's very Dickensian, but they say, "Hey, I'm here to support this young filmmaker. I believe in their concept. I believe in their script, and I think they can get good people." Well, of course, if they get some good people, then instantly they add more good people and then more good people. I can't tell you the number of folks that I was with on this thing in Dundas who had worked on the short film I did in Hamilton a couple of years back. We said, oh yeah, well, we met on that, we met on that, we did this and we did it. So that's how people in the industry in Canada behave.
yeah.
And it's because we believe that we should support our creators and just do whatever we can to make their lives slightly easier. And if then they want to make $100 million Marvel movie, I'm happy to be asked along. Don't get me wrong.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, it really does feel like, and I mean, I know Real Canada has always been very supportive of short film, but I mean, I've got to imagine having you being involved with something that won an Oscar
Yeah.
certainly doesn't hurt, especially when in terms of trying to push it and get people out there.
Well, no, I think you're right, David. It's a question of getting a certain amount of attention. And I think that The Girl Who Cried Pearls winning the Oscar, being nominated for the Canadian Screen Award, etc., is not going to hurt when we're trying to get people interested and into the theaters, because we're actually going to do a screening. We're doing a screening of the film with, I think the director is going to be there. And there'll be a Q&A, and just get people excited, and they'll tell two friends and they'll tell two friends. And let's face it, it's available for free on the NFB website because your tax dollars have already paid for it, right? So it's your stuff, it's your money. You might as well watch it. And like I said, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. But you have to find me first.
Now, I mean, I've got to ask, is there a part of you that is almost a little envious? Because, like you said, I mean, you're going to be involved. You're there. You're out there. But I mean, like, there's so many events, even in just like in Toronto. Like, I mean, I'm going to go watch my Winnipeg with Guy and Dawn, and just to sort of
Oh,
see all that happen. And I mean, there's so much fantastic stuff happening. Like, I can imagine for you as a not only as an actor and a storyteller, but as a fan, there's got to be a little bit of you going, "Damn it, I wish I could make that screaming," or "I wish I could make that."
Yeah, I know, indeed. I was actually on the jury that awarded my Winnipeg the prize when it was
Oh,
back.
fantastic!
Yeah, I was very pleased to be on that jury and pleased to see it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, what you want is a pied terre in in Toronto, and in the TIFF building, so that you can just gotta go down the elevator and you're there, right? And just go from theater to theater to theater. But I'm hoping I'm going to get to see a few things. I'm definitely going to be there for The Girl Who Cried Pearls.
Love it, love it. Now, I mean, I've got to ask, how do you think this event will evolve going forward? Because it does feel like we're at an interesting kind of inflection point where, and I mean, again, just to speak to sort of the national pride and not being sort of afraid to show it, it feels like we're at a point where we're okay with puffing our chests out a little bit, and then
Well,
saying like we're awesome. Come watch our stuff.
listen, we do things differently. You look at you look at the people we've sent to America to succeed. Mike Myers, Jim Carrey, John
I'm looking
Candy,
at one of them.
Catherine O'Hara, do you know what I mean? That have gone down there and told them how to do that stuff. Never mind all the directors, Norman Jewison, et cetera, et cetera. So we do things slightly differently. And I think that we reflect ourselves to ourselves in a wonderfully precise way. That is to say, it's not formulaic, it's not a big kind of blowout comedy thing. I mean, apart from Bon Cop, Bad Cop, which is
Oh
amazing.
yeah,
But the idea being that we are perhaps subtler, more exacting, and we're just a little bit special, and we're not afraid to say so now, and we're not afraid to show that special to the rest of the world. We never had a problem when a brilliant Swedish film, French film, Norwegian film, Japanese film, Belgian film came out. We thought, oh my God, that's amazing, blah, blah,
yeah, yeah,
blah.
yeah.
And why could we not do the same thing for ourselves? Now, National Canadian Film Day gives us a platform and an opportunity to say, hey, what have you seen this? What about that? Why don't you have a look at that? And I'm thinking going forward, listen, we're always looking for growth, but we depend on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah.
We're looking for as a not-for-profit in the schools thing and doing National Canadian Film Day, ESL stuff in the schools with kids and new Canadians. We obviously depend upon support, government support, et cetera, telefilm and heritage, et cetera. Not much, I may tell you,
Yeah.
not very much. Grateful that we are, very grateful, but it's pennies when you think about what we've managed to achieve. And so consequently, I think the more Canadians recognize the value of what we've achieved and enjoy it and are entertained by it, the more that we might get some kind of situation where they too saying, yeah, I'm here for National Canadian Film Day. I'm not so much elbows up, but I'm Canada up. I believe in this. These are my stories. These are the stories of my friends and neighbors, and I want to see more of them. And so, we're special in a very particular way. And I think anything that can draw attention to that and shine a kind of Klieg light focus on that is worthwhile. And I'm hoping that NCFD will do that for years and years to come.
100%, man. And I mean, selfishly, from a personal standpoint, I'm glad you brought up the idea of entertainment and just recognizing people because first time I remember seeing you was Trudeau. I'd love to get you in a room one day with a bunch of people to talk about that because goddamn, that to me was sort of your announcement as a proper Canadian actor, and I love you to death for it, and I love you for supporting NCFD obviously because it's near and dear to all of us. But my friend, thank you again for the time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your interest, Dave. I'm very pleased to talk with you.
And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.